As millions of Americans prepare their taxes to meet the April 15th deadline, President Trump is proposing that those earning $150,000 or less pay no federal income tax. The president also wants Congress to act quickly to make his previous tax cuts permanent. Phil Kerpen, president of American Commitment, joins us with more. Phil, first, no income tax for Americans earning $150,000 per year or less. How could that be? What are the chances that Congress will go along with the president's proposal?
Well, I think the prospects for that one are pretty low just because it was sort of thrown into the mix very, very late in the process here. But most middle and lower income people up to, I don't know exactly the number these days, maybe $75,000 or so, pay very little federal income tax. And one of the challenges that we've had is, as Republicans have been successful in raising the standard deduction amount and taking a lot of people off the income tax rolls, which is something that's happened from Reagan to Bush to Trump, then when you try to cut tax rates for the people that remain on the tax rolls, the Democrats and the media go crazy about tax cuts for the rich. So I'm not sure that taking more people off the rolls is necessarily a great idea, but it would be nice for the people that don't have to pay tax anymore. So I get the political appeal of it. But if you're someone who makes under $150,000 and you saw this headline and think you're not going to be paying tax, I think it's pretty unlikely that that'll be an outcome, at least this year.
Well, I know the biggest problem for fiscal conservatives is this proposal would cause a revenue shortfall of at least $1 trillion per year over the next 10 years. So how could Trump balance the budget with that kind of revenue shortfall?
Well, he'd have to make it up by not extending other elements of the tax cuts or not doing other parts of the agenda. It's difficult. Or you could find, additional major savings in spending, but they're going to be strained even to make good on the spending reductions that they've already promised. So it would add greatly to the fiscal challenge. And I think the House Ways and Means Committee is already pretty far down the tracks, as I said, of kind of figuring out what they could fit in the parameters of the budget resolution that the House guys have already put together. So I think the prospects of this are pretty low just because of how late in the conversation it's coming out.
Okay, but the immediate need is for Congress to come together quickly to cancel the tax hike. Trump's tax cuts enacted during his first term are set to expire. So what would that expiration mean for the average American?
Well, the average household tax bill goes up about $3,000 if the Congress fails to prevent the tax hike that's going to occur automatically with the expiration of those 2017 tax cuts at the end of this calendar year. And the specifics of that are the standard deduction gets cut in half. The child tax credit gets cut in half from $2,000 per child to $1,000 per child. All of the rates go up a few points in each bracket. And perhaps most significantly, from an economic standpoint, the tax on small businesses goes up pretty dramatically because not only does the top rate go from 37 to 39.6, but the 20% exclusion, what they call Section 199A, that goes away. So small business income goes from a top rate of 29% and change to 40%. And so small businesses would be particularly hammered hard, but every household that pays taxes would face higher taxes if Congress doesn't get on the same page and do something to prevent this tax hike.
Boy, that'd be tough for small businesses as they're just coming back, many of them after COVID.
Gary, and especially for whatever reason, Congress in its wisdom made the corporate income tax permanent, but the small business income tax expires. And so not only would small businesses get hit with steeply higher taxes, but their corporate competitors would not. And so it would be particularly unfair.
Phil, how does it look then? Are Speaker Johnson and John Thune acting with enough urgency here to move the House and Senate forward on this?
Well, this is going to be a huge week to find out on that because they finally cleared the CR. There's no government shutdown. There's no excuse for not getting down to business on the budget resolution, which is the predicate to doing the tax bill. And there will be high-level meetings this week between Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, the White House, maybe even the president himself. And they're going to have to get on the same page. Right now, they're in a standoff. The House has done a budget resolution that has a pretty good instruction to extend tax cuts. Not perfect. It probably isn't enough to get to permanence on all these various things, but it gets probably an 8 or 9 year extension, which would prevent all these tax hikes we're talking about for a good while. The Senate Republicans, they're saying that they want permanence, but the budget resolution they actually passed has no tax provisions at all. They actually did a budget that just does nothing on tax, and they say they'll get to that later in the year. And so we still have this kind of standoff between the House and the Senate. And I think that Speaker Johnson makes a very, very strong argument that, look, he has basically no majority. And so the House, what the House has shown that they're able to pass really should be the template for how we move forward. And if the Senate could act on that House budget resolution quickly, we could get a tax bill on the president's desk by Memorial Day, which was the goal that he laid out. If they try to do this two-bill thing and do it later in the fall, there's a real danger, Gary, that they either don't do it at all or do it right on the the week of Christmas Eve. And if they do that, there's going to be a lot of economic damage from all the uncertainty in the meantime. So this is a big week to figure out if the House and Senate Republicans can get on the same page and move sooner rather than later on tax.
Okay, we'll see what happens here. Phil Kerpen, president of America Commitment. Thank you, Phil, for joining us. We appreciate you.
My pleasure.